You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions Part 5. Today I have my buddy Kevin. It's Revis, correct?
Revis.
Revis, I was close. So how's it going, buddy?
It's going good. Keeping busy.
Yeah.
I'm located in New York, so we got hit pretty bad. So it's just about staying home at this point and praying for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been friends, for about a year now or so online? Give or take?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
But Kevin and I, we met about a month ago already, and we hung out for the day in New York City. We went to go see Diana. And we talked the entire day about Bon Jovi.
Yeah, we were nerding out. I've never seen anything like it. We had an amazing time. Show was great as well, and we got our tickets separately, but ended up sitting next to each other. So it was a good coincidence.
Yeah.
It all worked out. So I love when things like that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was weird, but hey, it worked out for us. That's pretty cool, though. So first thing on the agenda, meeting the band.
Oh yes.
You want to share your story first?
Yeah, sure. So I've met everyone in the band, but Richie. I mean, he's not in the band anymore, but I've never met Richie or Hugh. But everyone else I've met, first person I met was David. Funny enough, and it was the day after the MetLife Stadium show back in 2013. And I was like, "Oh wow, it's David Bryan, cool." I saw him at a Train concert, and Gavin DeGraw was opening. Gavin DeGraw was like, "Oh wow, David Bryan's in the house tonight from Bon Jovi." I quickly get up out of my seats. I literally start searching the venue. It was one of those. It's basically a shed. It's similar to. Have you been to any of the sheds like around your area? It's like they have one in Cleveland. So basically, it's there's like reserved seating in a pavilion setting, and then there's lawn.
Okay.
So like a lot of times lawn tickets cost like $20-$30. Like they sell them all the time on Groupon. And a lot of times, so we were in the pavilion, thankfully. So I saw David like in between the first tier and the second tier. So I go up to him. He was with Big Kenny from Big and Rich.
Wow.
So I approached him as a crazy fan. He was like the first celebrity I ever met. So it's just so.
Was this during the show?
Yeah, this was during Gavin DeGraw's set.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, after Gavin, he calmed me down for a second. He's like, yeah, man, okay, so after Gavin said, I'll happily take a picture with you. He goes up on stage during Gavin's last song, which was Not Over You, I believe. And he's like jumping around dancing on stage with Big Kenny, and then he goes backstage. And I'm sitting there waiting for like an hour, and he didn't come out. So I was like so disappointed that day. But obviously, like he just forgot. I probably would forget too if I was on stage. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, you got to think of all the things that he has going on. And
yeah, obviously.
I'd be bummed too, but I mean, at least you got the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah, and I told him I was like, dude, like Dry County last night was so awesome. I remember telling him that because they played Dry County the night before.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was back in 2013, you said?
Yeah, 2013. Then I met John in 2015. Basically, it was right before Runaway Tours. So I had my guitar with me. I wanted John to sign it. And I saw Matt by the backstage area. So I calmly asked Matt, I'm like, hey, Matt, listen, I'm a big fan. Is there any way I can get John to sign my guitar? And he was like, sure, no problem. So John comes out, and it's like, like a puff of smoke walked out, and he came out to like a puff of smoke in my mind. And I like literally walked up to him, like I couldn't even produce any words. Takes my guitar, and at this point, because it's in the middle of Times Square, basically, a crowd is starting to form because it's like, holy shit, John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, he's like, walk with me, kid. So I walk into the building with him. And, I shake his hand. I'm like, thank you so much. We take a really horrible selfie. I looked like shit in it. But yeah, it was still one of the best days of my life. And I want to thank Matt, if he's watching this, for doing this, for hooking it up for me, because it was one of the best days of my life.
That was a picture you showed me, too, when we were in New York, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good picture.
It's actually the reason why I got Invisalign, because my teeth looked so crooked in it. It's the reason why I got Invisalign. Swear to God.
Well, what was I gonna? I was gonna say something about that story, and it just left my mind. But oh well. So and you've met Tico.
Yeah, I
Too.
met Tico.
Share that one.
Actually, one last thing. I met John 2 other times as
Oh.
well before. Sorry. Met John 2 other times. Second one was after the iHeartRadio show. Obi got me into it. Literally snuck me in. Third one was in the middle of the Prudential Center concert. He jumped down right in front of me during We Got It Going On to make out with some chick. And I was next to her. And I was like, oh, let me get a selfie too.
Wow. And I've seen that picture, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Posted that as well.
But yeah, I met Tico. Met him twice. I have a picture with Tico and David before the iHeartRadio show when they were promoting When We Were Us. And so this was back in 2018 and before the Barrymore show. He was being rushed in. I had my camera ready. And I'm like, Tico. And he's just like, he's like cheesing really hard.
I think Tico takes the best selfies.
I know he does.
You said you've never met Hugh.
Never met Hugh.
And then you've met Phil?
Oh, many times. I was talking to him before the iHeartRadio show because I was waiting for like 10 or 12 hours trying to get in because I didn't have a ticket. And Phil was like so impressed by that. He's like, "Damn, dude, I hope Obi can get you in. He deserves to be in. Thank you so much."
Oh, the audio went out. Oh, there we go.
All right. So yeah, Phil was just like, he was just so impressed that I was waiting for like 10 hours. So and plus like I'm a younger dude, so it sure been a girl that was waiting, but me, I'm a guy, so that's probably the other thing and someone my age as well, that's probably something that impressed a lot of the band, me being this young and liking Bon Jovi. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well, because you're definitely not the target demographic. We're definitely not the target demographic.
No, I think this fan base is probably, what would you say, maybe 85% women, and then, 15% male fans. So, but, we're just as passionate, we may not be as excited to see John take his shirt off, but we're very excited to the music.
Listen, I'm okay with the 85-15 ratio. That's a ratio I'm very okay with. Let me put it to you this way.
Yeah, exactly. And then, have you ever met Bobby or Lorenza?
Never met Bobby, but I did meet Lorenza. All right, so it was before the Garden show. I was in the VIP area. I was hanging out there, and
which tour is this?
Huh?
The Lost Highway tour?
No, Madison Square Garden. This house is not for sale. Lorenzo was there, and so I was talking to her. We were talking about. I was like, "Oh, where's your violin?" When I went up to her, I'm like, "Oh, where's the violin?" We were talking for about 5 minutes. Very nice, really nice. And John Shanks obviously is really cool as well. I broke down with him a bit before the iHeartRadio show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Shanks is cool. Any stories with Bobby?
I never met Bobby. Never met Bobby.
He's cool. I met him briefly. Oh, what was that? I think they're on the Circle tour. Yeah, he was on the Circle tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's Bobby like?
Bobby's cool. It was like really quick. I was at like this sub shop in Pittsburgh, and him and like some other guy who it was, but they were just walking casually and stuff, and I said hi to him, and I actually took a picture with him, and this was during MySpace days.
Oh wow.
And so I have it on my MySpace, and I don't know how I can't get access into my MySpace, and it's like in a private, like friends only photo album.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So I'm trying to find out, what friends I still have on, if they have all their login info. But none of my friends now don't have access to it, so it's like sucks. But I did get to meet, but he was pretty cool. He was kind of like quiet, chillaxed.
Yeah, he seems that kind of way, yeah.
Yeah, it was more of an experience of like, hey, can I get a quick photo and nice to meet you and looking forward to the show, blah blah blah, and then done. You know,
When did you
uh,
meet Hugh?
I've never met Hugh.
Oh, I thought you said Hugh. Oh, so that's still Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, I
Got
met
it. Got
Bobby.
it. Misheard it.
Okay, I'll go off with who I've met. I've met Bobby. I've met
Hmm.
Lorenza twice. I met her back on the Lost Highway tour. She was outside of the arena, and my dad and I we were walking to the arena. We saw her. I didn't get a picture with her, but I just got to say hi to her. I just recognized her from photos. And I feel ashamed, but like I didn't really remember her name back then. I know she was just filling in for the tour and stuff like that with violin.
Hmm.
But and then I got to meet her on the cruise last year.
Oh, nice. What was your experience with her?
She's hot.
I know.
Yeah. Otherwise, no, she was really nice, and I tell you, she's a hell of a player.
Oh, she is great.
That's why, because I haven't seen her. I went to a KOS show, I think 2012, but other than that, I haven't seen her since the Lost Highway tour, and so just kind of see her again, like 3-4 times on the cruise play. She's an incredible player.
Hmm. Yeah, she was actually at the NASA Coliseum show in 2011 that I was at, and she played. John brought her up for Saturday Night, Who Says, and maybe a few
Oh
more
wow.
songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't thought about that in so long. But wow, yeah, she was definitely there. I'm sure you can find videos of that.
Yeah, she was really kind. And I met Shank. I met Shank on the This House Is Not for Sale tour in 2017 in Cleveland, actually. And funny story, my friends, well, not really funny, but my friends and I, we were walking in this like, it's like a hotel and a shopping center in one. And it was right by the Quicken Loans Arena. And we were just walking around and we were on the upper tier. And we look down and we see John Shanks. And so we're like, he's just walking around. Let's go get a picture with him real quick. And so we went down. And during the time that we went down, he was on the phone. Obviously, you don't want to approach him when they're on the phone. So we waited and waited, and like he had like a 20-minute conversation, but he hung up, and then we just approached him, and he was really cool. He told us stories about This House Is Not for Sale album, and I remember telling
Fingerprints.
you the story. What's that?
Fingerprints. Yeah.
Fingerprints, yeah. And he was telling me about how like John on the last that was the Burning Bridges album, but John on the last minute changed like the whole guitar work of the song and was changing the lyrics at the last minute. And he signed autographs, took photos. He was pretty cool. I've never met Tico. I really want to. That's on my goal. Obviously, we met David together. You and I.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, but I actually got to meet David twice that day. The first time that day, which was about a month ago, we were just walking through New York City, and we were walking on the same block where there's what was that theater called? Longacre.
I don't remember. There are so many Broadway theaters. There's like
Yeah,
there's
I think
like
it was Longacre.
5 on every block, especially in that area.
Yeah, and Rachel said, "Is that David?" Because she saw him in the back of the head, and she saw the big, blonde curly hair. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's David." And so I just approached him and I told him how big of a fan I was. And I've actually wanted to meet David for the last 20 years of being a fan, never got lucky. And so finally, this was my first time. And he took a photo and he was, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And then he agreed to take autographs that night if I was there. And then obviously that night, you and I and Caitlin and my fiance Rachel, we were all hanging out and we all got to take pictures and autographs. And it was great. And,
Yeah, that was such a good show.
Yeah.
He was so nice. We got to talk to him for about like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool guy.
Yeah, and you know what was so nice about that too was that there was like no other Bon Jovi fans wanting to get autographs, and so I think that's why he took the time to make sure we all got our stuff signed and take photos. He was even joking with us, and making sure we were happy with everything. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome. It was a really fun day that I will never forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and who have I forgotten besides John?
Richie.
Oh, Richie. Yeah, I
and
met
Phil.
Richie. Oh, Phil. I met Phil quite a bit.
Yeah.
Richie, I met in 2013 during the Because We Can tour, and we were outside of the arena. I get pretty lucky outside of arenas for some reason. and we were walking around, and it was probably like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and I saw Richie with like that Stetson hat. And this is like we're on like a hill, and I was on top of the hill, and so we kind of like not ran because that's crazy, but we just like walked faster, and he was just hanging out with I think he was with the security guard, and they were making their way in, and I stopped him real quick, and I just told him how big of a fan I was, and blah blah blah, and he goes, "Thanks, brother," and we shook hands, and he went in. But I wish I would have asked for a picture. I don't know why I didn't. But
Were there a lot of people there?
No, it was just me and another Bon Jovi friend. And,
Oh wow, you got lucky.
Yeah, I did get lucky, but like I said, I wish I would have asked for a picture because who knows if I'll ever get to meet him again. But like we go back to when you got to meet David at the Gavin DeGraw concert. At least you got the opportunity to.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's better to say that you have met him as opposed to I've never gotten to meet him.
I agree.
It's nice to have that picture as a final memory.
I agree, and also to post to everyone on Facebook and brag about it and collect likes.
Yeah, what's that? Say that last part.
And collect likes and just be like, haha, yeah, I got to meet him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to come off like that.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to post that stuff, but and Phil, I've met several times. He's obviously probably one of my favorite musicians in the world.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
Yeah, I could tell stories about Phil and stuff. And then I've met John, obviously twice through the Runaway events. I've gotten to shake his hand a couple of times, like after arenas and stuff. And then I told you my Pittsburgh story about the crazy fan.
No, I don't think you did.
Okay. So when John was doing the campaigning for Hillary Clinton,
yes, you did. Yes, but please tell it.
Well, since I'm already starting, I might as well finish. So long story short, after the show, we were walking back to our car, and it was like a museum type place, but it had like a nice what do you want to call it, like a theater, and it could seat about 200 people. So it was a very small venue. And we were walking around, and we saw Bill Clinton come out. We saw people, going crazy that Bill was outside. And obviously, he didn't say hi to anybody. But we were like, if Bill Clinton, I didn't care that Bill Clinton was coming out. But we thought, well, if Bill Clinton is coming out this door, who else is going to come out this door? Mm-hmm. And so we waited. There was like maybe 5 other Bon Jovi fans waiting. And security, and it wasn't Matt or any of Bon Jovi security. It was just like hired security for Pittsburgh. They came out and said that John agreed to take some photos and autographs if we were to be respectful and line up and be patient. And he said, it's probably going to be another hour wait. And we're like, hey, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. And so I was probably maybe the 4th or 5th person in line. And eventually John came out, and there ended up being like maybe 10 people, 12 people in the line. And like I said, I was 4th or 5th person, and John came out, took pictures. He was signing stuff with the 1st person, 2nd person, 3rd person. By the time he was in between the 3rd and 4th person, the girl in the way back of the line just said, and she like went to try to grab him and hug him, and security grabbed her so fast she didn't even get to touch John. And then the other security guard got John into the van, and that was it. And so that was kind of like that close of an opportunity to get and I didn't have anything to get signed because I wasn't expecting to meet him, and so I only had my ticket, and I was going to have him sign that, but so that was a missed opportunity. So
that sucks. I would have been so pissed if that was me.
Yeah.
My God, like that girl should have just been tarred and feathered for that.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that you should have seen what comments were being said about her after. The first 3 people were like all smiles, and they didn't care because they got what they wanted. But we were so pissed. So, but, there might be another opportunity someday. So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we got another tour coming up. Hopefully by the summer. If not, maybe in the fall.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this virus kind of calms down within the next month, and things kind of, because if it goes into May, I think the tour will definitely be postponed.
I mean, there are some July shows that have been postponed already. I mean,
Yeah,
that Roger Waters was postponed. Not like I'm gonna go to that, but
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but
So,
yeah, you know,
oh, you're
thoughts
freezing
on
up.
2020. This can you hear me?
Yeah, fine now. You're freezing up a little bit there, but you're fine now.
What are your thoughts on 2020 and like are you excited for it? The
The
record?
album? Oh yeah. I personally liked Limitless and I liked Unbroken. The only thing I would have changed about Limitless is I think Phil should have had a guitar solo on that song. Um,
I I agree.
yeah.
Definitely
Um,
agree.
and then Unbroken, I don't think it really had a place for a guitar solo. I think,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
more
thought,
about the message.
yeah. So that song really didn't need a guitar solo, but I think Limitless should have had one.
I agree.
And
And sorry, you were saying.
no, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
All right. And look, like I think I kind of see eye to eye on this. I mean, as great as the message of Unbroken is, I just don't think it shouldn't have been. I don't think it should have been the first thing that the band released for 2020.
Yeah. See, the thing is that even John has said it wasn't really a single to promote 2020. It's just going to be on 2020. But it had to come out in November because of that. What was that documentary, To Be of Service?
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, it was pretty good, and it was
Yeah,
the perfect
it's
song for it.
it's
So
very powerful documentary. But I would have done marketed this thing a lot differently. Had it been me in the marketing chair of the
yeah,
of Island Records or whatever the heck it's called now, I would have marketed it very differently. Number one, before the last leg of the This House Is Not for Sale tour, I would have released a lead single that kind of, like is like Because We Can, We Weren't Born to Follow, Have a Nice Day. It's My Life, one of those that's just very optimistic and very basically like something like the message of Limitless, but with a guitar solo in it, kind of
yeah,
just to get everyone excited.
yeah.
Um,
The thing about
and
go ahead.
yes. And at this point, no album or anything is released yet. Any info about that is released. Just a single, and people can do with it as they please, right? And that's important. So November, Unbroken comes out. John and the band go on radio, late night appearances. They perform both songs, and um, and then they announce a tour right in time for Christmas, right in time for the holidays, so people can get that as gifts. Um, and then, once the tour goes on sale, get an email or a Facebook post, Twitter, Limitless gets released. It's a very knockout type song. It's like a good second or third single. And then on January 1st, 2020, they surprise drop the album with like a whole Rolling Stone article and all that stuff. And, it works. And a lot of modern artists like rap have done it,
And it
and
works out well for
it
them.
works. It works for them. So why not try something like that? I feel like that would get everyone excited, and it would go viral in an instant.
Yeah. You see,
That's
the one thing that I miss about promotions is that, like, during the Lost Highway tour, or before the Lost Highway album, they would premiere songs live for the first time before you even heard it as a single or on the TV for a music video. So, like, the first time we heard "You Want to Make a Memory," and I have it on a record tape before DVR days. But the first time you heard "You Want to Make a Memory" was live on American Idol.
oh really?
Yeah, and because
Wow.
and then like 2 weeks later, the music video came out, and then they released it as a single. I don't know if iTunes was a thing back then. I think it was just the music video at the time. I don't think iTunes was a big thing yet.
That's
But
crazy.
but regardless, with before the Circle, all those albums, they would premiere a lot of their songs live for the first time. Like look at "This Ain't a Love Song" from the These Days album. John performed that at a promotional show for Crossroads before
Mhm.
These Days even came out, and that version is actually on the These Days special edition.
Really? I did not
Yeah.
know that.
And yeah, so like I don't know if you've obviously heard the version, right? On These Days special edition, they sing a love song live.
No, I actually haven't.
Oh yeah, so like in the beginning it says, "All you bootleggers, start running your tapes. This is the upcoming new single for These Days, This Ain't a Love Song."
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so that was at a Crossroads promotional event. So that's what I kind of miss is like seeing it live because obviously we haven't seen Limitless live yet, you know, but we've seen Unbroken a couple of times I think live on TV when he was
For that.
yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So but the thing is now is all these record companies they think that they got the big idea and they think what's the best way to market the new album stuff, which I think this one is kind of, if it wasn't for Unbroken, I think this would have been a decent time. I think the time frame that they're promoting, I think would be okay. With Limitless coming out last month, and then obviously a new single is going to be coming out here at the end of this month or beginning of May to promote 2020, and go from there, I guess.
I just think that people have like a really low attention span at this point. And asking someone to listen to like 7 or 8 songs they've never heard before is too much.
Yeah.
Even now when I'm listening to an album, I need to listen to it multiple times in order to fully digest it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is nowadays what hurts artists is that everyone just buy what you hear on the radio on iTunes. It's all about content and having it now. So if you got to think if you hear a song on the radio that you like, all you care about is that one song, unless you're a diehard fan like us, and obviously we're going to go buy the physical copies and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people that right now, they just go buy what they hear on the radio that's on their phone, and they don't care to hear the deeper tracks on the album, which unfortunately you miss out on a lot of really good songs,
Yeah. And that's where the beauty of streaming comes in because, it gives you so much access because back in the day you had to go to a record store or a CD shop and buy the whole album and hope and pray that it's good. Now I can, you told me to listen to a Kiss album called Crazy Nights when we met. And on the way back home, I listened to it 10, 15 years ago. That wouldn't have even been possible. Yeah. So that's a great thing. And if you like it, you go buy the physical copy.
Yeah. I mean, my perfect example is that I love the deeper tracks of Bon Jovi more than I like the hits.
Mm-hmm.
So if all those people out there who only knew Living on a Prayer and Bad Name and It's My Life and all those hits, if they only knew that there were so many more amazing songs on all those albums,
I agree. And people have the freedom to do that now with streaming, like I said, because there've been many times where I've heard of the hits by an artist, like Shinedown is a perfect example. Like, oh wow, like I love the song Second Chance, I love Sound of Madness, Unity. And then I got to clicked on each of the albums and I listened through it, and it was amazing. They're one of my second favorite band now after Bon Jovi.
Yeah. For me, and I'm one of those people too that will only buy what they hear as a hit from other bands. But if I hear at least like 10 good songs, then I'll maybe go buy one of their albums and listen to the whole album and stuff like that. That's what, like with Aerosmith, for example, when I was young, I heard like Janie's Got a Gun and Crazy and all those good songs. And I was like, you know what, this band is pretty good. And then I started buying like the Pump album, and
that's such a good album.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Kiss and Cheap Trick and all. That's how I got so into those other bands too. So, but yeah, I think I wish this album was kind of being promoted a little differently, but we're in the day and age where it's all about being streamed, and you release the single at midnight and see where the single goes on the charts. But
I agree. I mean, look, nothing's ever perfect, but where I feel like the band, really all bands really make their money and really put the money where their mouth is on tour.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The money's where the tours are. That's where these artists are making their money.
So, what songs do you hope Bon Jovi plays on this upcoming tour? What songs do you hope he goes deep in?
Well,
and John, if you're watching this, pay attention, please. This is very important.
I think that's a far fetch. But we actually did our dream set list.
Oh yes, let's hear it.
You want to start off with yours?
Okay.
Now, you went and you put hits in your set list.
Yes, I did.
I didn't. I only have one hit on mine, but it comes with a band jam session that they used to do. So
I'm interested. Which one is it?
I'll tell you when I do mine.
Okay.
Let's see yours.
So I'm one of those fans, I enjoy hearing the hits. I like it. It gets everyone singing and it's realistic. I remember in Dublin, I followed them around Europe and I have a vlog about that. So definitely check it out because it's a lot of fun. Have you seen it? My
I
vlog.
think I watched part of it. No, you broke that.
Okay. So I made a Wish set list and I gave it to Phil X and Phil texted it to the band. And some of the stuff was played that night, and the reason why, because it was real. It was I put stuff that was likely to get played, so that's kind of what I did with this one. So I have them opening with "This House Is Not for Sale," great song. Then goes straight into "Born to Be My Baby," huh?
I was gonna say I love "This House Is Not for Sale" as an opener.
Such a good opener.
I think.
Then you go into.
Go ahead.
No. You finish.
I think on the last tour, this house tour, I just love that. Like you see in the screens, like the road, and like they show you what city they're in, and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden you see like this door, and the lights hit the door. Then you see John standing there, and then obviously the band starts. I wish they would have lifted the curtain up at the beginning of those shows though, instead of like right after the first chorus. But it is.
I think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool because it's just like seeing everyone cheer during "I'm Coming Home" and then it opens up. That's pretty cool.
Oh, it sure is.
Then after "Born to Be My Baby," track 3 is "Runaway," but he does the Time Machine intro.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I like that idea right at the beginning of the show. Yeah.
Then you go into "We Weren't Born to Follow," which is a song he likes to play, and I like that song too. Then the crowd's like, okay, like whatever. Then he brings it up with "You Give Love a Bad Name," but there's no like "Take Me to the Sea," da da da. It just goes like straight into "Shot Through the Heart," and that part. You know what I mean? It's just like no long intro.
Yeah.
Then brings it down for a minute with "A Whole Lot of Leavin'." I love that song. I love that song. Say what you want. That song's amazing.
There's 5 Bon Jovi songs that I do not like, and "Whole Lot of Leavin'" is one of them.
Really? Where are the other 4?
We'll get into that after the set lists.
Okay. Then you go into "Limitless." I think that's going to sound amazing live. Then after "Limitless," he's like, here's part 2. "It's My Life."
Okay.
Then "Because We Can." "Sleep When I'm Dead" with "Start Me Up."
Oh, I love that.
Uh-huh.
Then cool.
Then "I Die For You."
Okay.
"Bad Medicine" with a snippet of "Pretty Woman" and "Shout."
Oh, I like that.
And then John's like, okay, then he introduces David to sing "In These Arms." Then John appears on a B stage. "What Do You Got?" and either "Bed of Roses" or "I'll Be There For You."
Okay, on the B stage.
Mm-hmm. Then afterwards, it's Who Says He Can't Go Home, "Captain Crash," "Saturday Night," "Have a Nice Day," and "Keep the Faith." Encore starts with "Dry County," "Wanted Dead or Alive," "These Days," "Blood on Blood," but with the acoustic intro, kind of like on the Madison Square Garden DVD.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Yeah.
"Living on a Prayer," but then he still wants to do more. So it's "Always," and then "Love's the Only Rule." And he does the walk off at the end. You know what I mean? Where he goes down the steps while still singing.
Like during the that
Yeah.
part. Oh, I like that. I think "Love's the Only Rule" would be kind of a cool closing song, especially that way. But like doing their bows right before that song and doing,
It's like a good song before the encore or during the second encore if he chooses to do one, which I kind of miss. Like those that really didn't happen that much on this tour.
Encores, yeah.
I mean, Dublin got one. Now, the crowd was just so loud there. Wembley didn't even get one, which I was really shocked by. I thought he was going to go. He was going to give a marathon set for Wembley, and I was like, I left the venue. I was just like, damn, like Liverpool got an extra encore, but Wembley didn't. I was like, come on,
Yeah, I think it depends on his voice nowadays, unfortunately, because you look at the other past tours and there's like 1, 2, 3 encores, and now it just depends on how he's feeling in his voice, which I respect. But
All right, so let's hear yours.
All right. So I know we talked the other night, and I wasn't joking about not doing any hits on mine. So I love We Got It Going On as a show opener. I got to see it. Well, on the cruise last year, John opened up with We Got It Going On. I thought it was so cool. It pumped the crowd up, and it was just one of those fun songs to start out with. So either that one to start a show, or I Believe from the Keep the Faith album.
Really?
Yeah, I saw them open up with I Believe. I think during the Lost Highway tour. And I thought it was so cool.
Oh my God, where was that?
Good question, because I went to 6 shows on the Lost Highway tour. I'll have to look and let you know.
I would love to hear I Believe.
It might have been Pittsburgh. It wasn't at the Madison Square Garden shows. So those 3. I'll have to look into that. But I like that intro, the guitar and then the drum speaking up. And then all of a sudden, John comes up with his guitar and
played guitar on that?
Yeah, he did. He did it on the Keep the Faith tour, I believe, didn't he?
I'm not sure. Yes, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start watching for every day I'm on quarantine, watching a video from every year, like a full concert from every year, because you can find them on YouTube and just comparing it.
Yeah, I think he did play because I remember on the Lost Highway tour, he was wearing a red. He played the black and white guitar.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Okay, and then so whether it was We Gotta Go On or I Believe is the first song. Next song would be Summertime.
Oh yes.
Which I saw on the Lost Highway tour. I just love that song, especially Tico's drums at the beginning, the boom, boom, boom. I love that. And then I'd go with Every Day.
Okay.
And then Bounce.
Oh, yes.
And then Say It Isn't So, which.
Oh my God. You have the better set list.
Well, I didn't do any hits. And so I think after those 5 songs, it'd be kind of time to like cool the crowd down a little bit and kind of settle things a little bit. And so we'd have them play Misunderstood and All About Loving You.
Oh, yes. I don't think they've ever played All About Loving You live.
No, John did it one time acoustic by fans' request during the Bounce tour, and then one time during like a promotional event in Australia, where like this crazy fan like jumped in the water and swam across. And then John helped her up on stage so she didn't drown.
That's insane.
That video is on YouTube. I'm surprised you didn't see it.
Actually, I think I have. Yeah, like what happened? Like was she just like getting too in the moment, and then she was just like accidentally fell into the water?
It was in Australia, I think, and the band was on their stage, and then the water was right here, and then the audience right here. So the barrier was the water. And this fan went into the water and swam across to the band, and then John like helped her up and stuff. But the 2 times that they've ever played All About Loving You was acoustic. So I think it'd be perfect to do during a show. And then so after Misunderstood and All About Loving You, we pick it back up, and I chose Blame It on the Love of Rock and Roll.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And then I Die for You, because that's obviously a great one. And then I was thinking more of like a fun song, so I chose The More Things Change.
Fuck, I should have included that in mine. That's one of me and my dad's favorite Bon Jovi songs.
And then I figured this would be like the perfect time for John to take a break before he goes to the B stage. And so I figured why not have David Bryan sing In These Arms, which is really cool.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. And so now we're at the point where John's at the B stage after In These Arms. And he does I Want You acoustic.
Wow, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, and he's only ever done that once during the Keep the Faith tour. It was by fans' request too. And then back in 2015 during a Runaway, do you know Luca?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He requested it, and John sang it acoustic at a Runaway event. So I think it sounds really good. So after that, then It's Hard Letting You Go.
I don't like that song.
You don't like that song?
Oh.
Oh, man. I love it. And then Fast Cars to kind of pick up the pace a little bit.
Yes.
And then with this next one, Love's the Only Rule, he will start out on the B stage, but like make his way through the crowd singing Love's the Only Rule, and then back to the stage. Okay.
Nice.
And then they get back to the stage, lights go out for a little bit, and then One Wild Night. Like the chop chop
Da, da,
chop.
da, da,
Yeah,
da, da, da. Does he do the dance from the Crush store?
I guess you could add it in there. Yeah, why not? Make the girls happy. Make some of the guys happy too, I guess. And then I Want to Be Loved.
Oh
I
yes,
know you love
yes.
that song, so I had
Oh,
to put it
oh
on
my
here.
god, I love that song.
And then Edge of a Broken Heart.
You're a good friend. You're a very good friend. What was this? What was that one? Edge of a Broken Heart.
Yeah, which was
Ah,
an
nice.
outtake from Slippery. Yeah. And then the next one, I was in between. So I was thinking maybe Hearts Breaking Even, or
Mm-hmm.
If That's What It Takes, which are very high vocal. So I think our chances of seeing those two live are slim to none.
That's why it's a fantasy.
That's right.
If
And
that's what
then,
it takes, that
yeah.
would be better.
And then, like, lights would go out for a little bit. John does a little bit of talking, and then they would do their final, like, 5-song set before the encore. And so they would start out with This Is Our House,
Oh yes.
which was never on an album, but it was released as to promote the Greatest Hits tour in 2011. And then Story. Well, I want to switch these two. So after This Is Our House, We All Fall Down from the Burning Bridges album.
Yes, that's the
I
best
love
song
this
on
song.
that album.
I love that
That
song.
and Who Would You Die For?
Oh yeah. And then after We All Fall Down, Story of My Life, because I
Okay.
love those keys at the beginning. And then before the encore, they would close the show with Wild in the Streets. And then obviously they fake taking their, saying thank you. Then they leave the stage. And you think the show's over, but it's not. So they come back up. And this is the only hit I included just because of the band's jam session, especially between David and Tico. Lay Your Hands on Me.
Okay.
Because in the
Like,
beginning where they're doing the boom, 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 you know?
oh, you want that intro?
Yeah, and like a perfect example is These Days tour when David and John or David and Tico were jamming and going off of each other and stuff. Then Phil would come in. Well, back then it was Richie, but now it'd be Phil coming in playing guitar.
Maybe a marching band intro.
Yeah, and then John comes back up and they do Lay Your Hands on Me, and then Get Ready after that.
Oh yes.
And then they take their bows, leaves the stage, but one more encore. They come back up to do These Days, and then they finish the show with Always.
John's gonna be really tired after that show. I don't think he'll ever sing again.
That's why it's a fantasy set list. I don't know.
I care about Sean. I want him to do another show like that. That's why I went easy on him.
Well, yeah, but this is in a perfect world, especially because I added Hearts Breaking Even, and If That's What It Takes, I think that would. I think that'd be.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah. But I love those songs, and I also wanted to add something to believe in, and I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. But so that's my
song.
What's that?
I'm a fan of that song.
You're breaking up again.
Not a fan of that song. Something to believe in.
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd never liked the These Days album until maybe about a year ago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love these. And I was just talking with one of my other Bon Jovi friends the other day. It's amazing how you look back at interviews, and John says that's one of his most optimistic albums that he's ever written. And you look at it and go, how?
I love the interviews for that album. I saw this one that he did in England, and then he did a version of These Days where he was playing the electric guitar. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think I have.
Like he was doing
it to me just in case I haven't.
It was a really good interview. It was like on his birthday, and he was talking about how his driver, he saw two girls that were waiting for him, and they were hungry, so he got his driver to drive him to McDonald's or something.
I've never seen that. You have to send that to me.
I'll send it to you. And he was promoting, I think, The Leading Man.
Oh, okay. I've actually seen that. Okay.
I love those interviews. You're just going down the rabbit hole now. That's really what I'm doing.
But, to conclude this discussion, it's amazing how John thinks that was one of his most optimistic albums, and you kind of look at it as a fan and go, how? If you look at the lyrics and most of the songs, it's very dark and stuff. But then I think I've realized it's more of like a Misery Loves Company album. So like when you're depressed or want to hit a wall, you listen to that album, and somehow, some way, you find the light at the end of the tunnel, and it makes you feel better.
I never thought about it that way. Funny enough.
Yeah. Well, I spent the last 20 years thinking how it was so optimistic, and like 2 years ago, I just kind of was like, you know what? This is more of like a Misery Loves Company type album, where that's where you find the optimism in it, I think. So.
I think the beauty in music is that, it means different things to people, and certain artists appear at different times. Like, there's a pop punk band I used to listen to as a kid called All Time Low. And I listened to their new album, and, it was good, but I was just like, I just outgrew it. And, with these days, I'm starting to appreciate it now. Back in the day, I wouldn't have appreciated it because it's just a very mature record. It's like their version of a Matchbox 20 album. It's pretty mature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, let's conclude the video, and then you and I, we could do some chatting after.
Yes.
And but I'm at 46 minutes, so in order to upload, I have to cut it. So, but
I'm
recording here.